We here at TV3 think it's so important to make sure and recognize the people that we are calling the angels in our community, those battling the disease head on and protecting our communities. People like Valerie Perez with the Corpus Christi Fire Department. A huge thank you to all of our first responders and people like Monica Marie Sanchez, who is a registered nurse over at Doctors Regional Hospital. Thank you so much, Monica. And then there's Brenda Villarreal and fellow staff at ABC Pediatric. These are the angels in our community, and we are so proud.